Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be incising onto a slate coaster and color filling it in with powder paint to get results like this. And I thought that the Patriots logo was only fitting, seeing as the Super Bowl is around the corner. Let's get over to it and get started. Okay, so we're over here in studio and I do have this PNG that I brought in and we're going to trace this. We're going to select the PNG and click trace. It will not trace this white outline right here going around the logo, but we are just going to move these sliders around until we get everything inside traced and ready to go. Once we're happy with everything, we are going to select save and we will be brought back to our work area. We're now going to have two separate files here, and we are going to remove or slide away the vector. You can choose to keep the image as a reference. I often do sometimes, but now we are going to be working on what we have to do to break this into different layers so we can achieve the different colors that I have on that slate coaster. We are going to start with our own outline and we're going to click outline. And then we are only going to do the external and not do the inside of it. You're going to select and play around with the slider until you like what you have. And now I'm going to select it all and I'm going to copy this because I'm going to need 2 copies to do what I have to do here. And sometimes it's easier to select each thing and assign it its own color and assign those to an engrave so I can see what I'm doing because I'm colorblind, so it just makes it easier for me. So we're going to be cutting the star out and the face shape out of what the actual blue part is of the logo. That way, when we engrave it, or when we go to engrave that part of the logo, it's not going to re-engrave that star and that face. So I'm going to be selecting the areas I don't want right now, and I am just going to be keeping these 3 separate elements right here. I'm going to select them all, and I am going to click subtract. And now that subtracts that star and that face out of that area, and we can save that. We're going to select the star and the face from the copy that we made, and we're going to move that aside because we're going to need those after. I'm now going to set these all to engrave and assign them a different color because I'm colorblind and I need to see things that way. It just makes it easier for me. And so I'm assigning each one and I'm grouping these 2 together because they are the same. And we're going to make sure to set those to engrave as well. We're now going to select it all and we are going to subtract. And that is now how we have our outline. We can save those. We need these for later as well. And we can get rid of this right here now. And now we have our file set up and we just have to set it all back in place where it should be. We're going to make sure to set these all to engrave because that's or incess once we get there. But right now we're just setting them all to engrave so we can see what we're doing and placing them exactly where they need to be. Right now I am using the arrow keys to just shift them a little bit and zoom in so I make sure they are exactly where they need to be. Now that the file is all set up, we're going to make sure we are in emboss mode. And each of these layers we're going to set to an incised, which means it's going to take this vector file and engrave it down into it, where an emboss would engrave around it and leave this raised, but we're engraving down into it with this vector. All of these are going to be 100 power, 300 speed, and 240 lines per centimeter. with no angle and 10 layers for each one of these. You also want to make sure these are all on infrared for this part of the engrave. We're going to be doing these one layer at a time. So right now we are going to be turning off almost all of the layers except for one. And we'll start with that one and we will go from there. You don't want to engrave this all at once because this is going to be a multicolored project. I'm going to be connecting to my machine now and then I will focus and get a picture. And that actually looks like pretty good placement, but we are going to frame this anyways. Okay, so we're framing it. That looks really good to me. So now we're just going to start running this. We're going to start with the face portion and I'm going to select it and I'm going to send it over to the laser. We're going to hit start and we will watch it. And now we're going to add it's a metallic gray paint. And we're just going to do a little bit and it's just going to go right over it. I do take a metal business card and just smooth it out because you do want to make sure it's flat and not bumpy. And now we're going to hit it with the blue light. And now we're back in studio. I'm going to change this over to blue light and we are going to change it to engrave. I found 60 power, 3000 speed, and 220 lines per centimeter work great for this color. And we will just send it off and it'll start. And now we're just going to hit it with the blue light. Sometimes I do like to run a second pass over it. All depends on what I get for a result. And I'm just going to run that one more time. If you want, you can just scrape the rest of the paint away, but when you run the next part, you're going to be using an infrared, so it doesn't really do anything to the powder paint. It blows it away, that's about it. It doesn't burn it into it. It hasn't been my experience anyways. I haven't been able to get that to work at all with the IR part of it. But we're going to move on and do the second part. We're going to collect the star and we're going to make sure that the star layer is turned on and we will process that now. That second part didn't record. I am so sorry for that, but it created this star. I did brush away some of the powder paint, not that it mattered, but we did create that star and I'm sorry that didn't record, but I'm sure you understand how it engraves. We are now going to change the star to just a regular engrave. We're going to make sure it's blue light. And for this, I have found doing it at 60 power and 3500 speed and the 240 lines per centimeter work great. And I did get good results doing it this way for this white, which I was very impressed with. I've had other whites that it wouldn't work at all. So we are going to send this over now. I am going to try powder paint, so we will see live if this is success or a fail. The other whites that I had, I was not successful with. This is more of a metallic-y one, so hopefully this one will work, but white does tend to be a much harder color, same thing with yellow, to actually engrave into these. So again, we're just going to smooth it out. And we're going to run and hit that with the blue light now. Again, you don't have to move it, but we will just to do it really. We're now going to select the blue layer that I have, which is like the helmet part or the mask, whatever you want to call it. We're going to turn it on. We're going to set that to insets, and we are going to run that on the laser now. And we're just going to move on and put on the blue paint for the face part or the mask part, whatever you would want to call it. And we'll hit that with the blue light now. For the blue mask part, I find with this blue, doing a power of 50, a speed of 3000, and the lines per centimeter at the same as a 220 is best. And remember, we got to make sure it's on blue light and engrave. And we will do the tails now. Okay, for the tails, again, we're going to turn that layer on. The speed and the power is all going to be the same. 100 power, 300 speed, 220 lines per centimeter, and 10 layers of incess, and we'll send that on over. And we're just going to add some red powder paint to this. And hit it with the blue light. We're going to make sure that this is set to engrave and blue light. We're going to use 80 power, 3000 speed, and I am sorry I misspoke. I've been using 240 lines per centimeter for all these powder paints, so I do apologize for that, but we are doing 240 lines per centimeter per the colors. And now we do have that colored part all done, and I am actually just going to hit it with a fan just to get rid of some of that paint. Again, not that doing the outline in the IR will do anything. I just want to make sure it's clean so I can see what I'm doing. Yes, doing that does make a mess everywhere, but I clean up after every time I do it, so. And that's what we have so far. So let's get that outline on there. Okay, guys, we are almost done now. Let's get this outline done. We're going to select the outline. And again, Incess, Info Red Light, 100 power, 300 speed, 10 layers, and the 240 lines per centimeter. And we will get this engraved. So we are just going to go ahead and fill this with white. Just making sure it's smooth and not bumpy. And we'll hit that with the blue light now. We are just going to make sure to turn this to engrave, and we are going to make sure that it's on blue light. The white is the same white as the stars, so all those settings are going to be the same. And then I'm just going to take it and dump this part in the trash. And I am just going to clean it now with some alcohol, just an alcohol wipe. And now this is what we have. We have the red, white, and blue Patriots logo. I hope you enjoyed this video and learned some new tricks today. If you enjoy learning this kind of content, please consider liking and subscribing and leaving a comment below to our channel. I will also link our group down below where you can get some amazing ideas and help from an amazing community. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you on the next video.